if we now understand that sexual energy is huge, that when we're in the territory, bringing that energy out through our sexual interactions. Now I'm going to get into a little bit more explicitly sexual kind of context. If we're talking about specificity and discernment, and we recognize that we're talking about our most fundamental energy, that by nature is always incredibly vulnerable because it touches into the core of our most personal humanity. It is impossible to engage in sexuality without vulnerability. Vulnerability, emotion, unknown territory, it is part of the realm of sexuality, and there's no way to avoid that. What that loosely translates into is that sexuality and sex is messy. It is messy. It is the territory where we can feel like, you know what? I feel like I've got like all my ducks in a row in every part of my life. But then over here in sexuality, why is my partner so emotional? Why do I get so triggered? Why does so much stuff come up for me that doesn't come up for me anywhere else? Why all these things, right? It's like we don't touch it until we're inside of sexual territory. And that's the thing that brings out our deepest material, our deepest parts of ourselves, and that's the way it's supposed to be. It is not supposed to be that we check our emotions at the door and then step into sex and think that now we're like just in sexual territory, and that isn't an engagement that is an engagement that's knocking on like the very core of who it is that we are. And if we're knocking on that door, we better believe that what's going to show up is everything that's actually honest. And what's honest is our vulnerability. Our vulnerability is so beautiful because it's the honesty of the moment. What happens inside of those sexual interactions when we feel like our emotions aren't supposed to be there, or it's not supposed to be messy, is it gets also very confusing and very compartmentalized. Our bodies, our pleasure bodies, amazingly enough, are wired so that our deepest pleasure isn't possible unless we're actually willing to access and show our vulnerability and our emotion.